I thought it was high time for another follow-up review on the watch that started my channel, that started a lot of people's channel. I know Jody from Just One More Watch felt the same way about this piece, and it really deserves all the praise it gets. So there's a cleaning cloth inside for it, and it is the Ginault Ocean Rover, a watch that is very controversial to this day, but still the staple of my collection by far. The most expensive watch I own. It is a superb piece, really is. Now right off the bat you might notice that it is quite polished. I intended to clean it up a little bit, but I did not expect the polishing wheel in my garage to shine it up so well. It's not extremely overly polished. I mean, if you look at the underside you might disagree with me and hate me, but this polish will fade over time. I think it mainly has to do with the actual media that I used to polish it with. It was not with any sanding utensil, it was actually a buffing wheel. So I feel like over time the polish will fade away. But as it is, this watch isn't going anywhere. It's developed a lot of memories. I mean, just the case back alone, I've got some very distinct dates at the back which are important in my life. Surprisingly, this is just by pure coincidence. It's still running. I haven't worn this watch in 2 days and it's still going strong, so it just shows you how good the power reserve is. Very soon I will be comparing this to another watch that will be arriving, a sibling should I say, and it should be very good comparing and contrasting them both, specifically looking at things like the quality control, the movement accuracy and all the rest. Let's give it a bit of a wind so you can have a listen to it. As you can see, the crown stem is nice and fat. Inside there's a rubber gasket, and if I wind it up, buttery smooth. Yeah, so to anyone who might be very angry at me for polishing up this thing, I wouldn't really say polishing, it's more like intensive cleaning. I have no intention of getting rid of this watch. Out of all the watches in my collection, this one is going to be staying because, like I've said in a few videos, if you look at my past videos, I've talked about why I believe this to be the ultimate Submariner homage. It really hits all the boxes perfectly, and the more I wear it, the more I can appreciate it for those reasons. So I cleaned it up because I needed it to have a bit of provenance in the collection. It's not an everyday wearer for me. It's something I wear on a Sunday. It's my Sunday watch, I would say. It's quite cool. In that rotation, I always dedicate Sunday to wearing this because it's the day of pure relaxation, and it's always such a pleasure opening up this case, which is why I suggest you invest in these beautiful little felt cases. Opening up the case, seeing this watch standing proud, it's so cool. So just running through a few of the specifics. In the beginning, there was nothing. In the beginning, the bezel was a bit of a problem for a lot of people because it was very stiff. I can tell you, I don't know how the whole marketing scheme worked around that, but the watch no longer has any, or mine at least, has no real compression behind the bezel. It is flush, and the movement itself, if you watch the first video, I'm amazed at seeing how stiff it was. Now it's buttery smooth. Let's have a listen to it. Very, very reassuring, very positive, and it never misses a beat. It's a clear 120 click bezel. The aluminium section of the bezel hasn't been scratched whatsoever. It's still in pretty perfect condition, though I have worn it before I polished it up. I wore it quite extensively. I fell into the Thames while punting with the watch. That's a funny story. Yeah, it's just perfect. I've worn this out in the sun a lot. As you can tell, the gloss dial is still flawless. Sorry, I'm holding this a little bit off center. I'll try and center it for you. The gloss dial is flawless. All these marks you see are just fingerprints. I like keeping a cloth handy to clear it off. The bracelet is excellent. As always, it's still a superb performer. There have been a few little micro abrasions on the underside and at the rear of the bracelets. Let me try and show that to you. There are a few little marks. I think that's probably to do with the bracelet interacting with it. I'm sure you could polish those out. It's expected wear and tear. But I think the one thing I wanted to cover once again, and something that never fails to impress me. I mean, the Submariner as a watch is something that to many people is, I mean, in my mind at least, it's perfect. I believe it to be a perfect watch. But there are times when you get bored of it because it is very plain, especially the no-date models. But what this is able to do is it's able to differentiate itself to such an extent that it is no longer a boring watch to look at all the time. The faux patina or faux tina that what's her name, Cara from Hodinkee talks about, I think that's an excellent name. The faux tina really gives it such a nice impression, and it contrasts so well with the stark black dial and the black bezel. The red seconds hand is also superb. It took me a little bit of time to warm up to it in the beginning, but it really does fit the aesthetic well. It gives it that little bit of dynamism that makes it different. And then the proportions, the actual proportions of the watch are excellent. I so wish that new Rolex models came with original case sizes like this, because these case sizes were around for such a long time for a reason. They are a lot more fitting for a wrist, and the watch that will be arriving soon will show the contrast between the two, I hope. But let's get it on the wrist quickly and show you how well it wears. Granted, it is quite polished and quite in your face, which kind of goes against the idea of a tool watch, I agree, but at the same time, this is not being worn so much as a tool watch. This is being worn as a weekend special. And if I had to, excuse me for a second, if I had to jump back here and show you what is next to it, we have the tool watch on the side, on this side, which is used for everyday wear and tear. You can see that it's pretty impressive. They do fit well, very well together. These two models were, the first video I ever produced was a comparison between these two models, a versus video, because so many people owned the Steinhardt and everyone wanted to know what was so special about the Ginault and whether it was worth it. And yeah, I can tell you, it's almost been a year since I bought this watch, and it still is perfect in every way. This micro adjustment system, this easy glide lock system is fantastic. It works so well, it's so efficient. That's a bit of grime, that's terrible of me. I haven't cleaned the watch methodically, but anyway, it still is a perfect performer, excuse me. And there's not really much needed to be said about it. I mean, impressions are one thing in a video, but actually seeing it in person and handling it changes your opinion a lot about things. They really hit the nail on the head. This is something that I'd like to bring up, and I think this is going to be the title of the video. It's going to be, where is Ginault? Because I don't know what happened to the website or any of the contact details, but I cannot find any of the original mailing addresses or website pages available nowadays. Maybe that's something to do with me being based in the UK. Maybe they only supply to an American market now. But I would love to hear your feedback on what might have happened to them, because I've tried to find them and they've disappeared. So whether the company has sold out their models or they're going through another overhaul period, I have no idea. But it'd be good to hear from you if you know anything that I don't. But all in all, excellent watch. I know there's going to be a lot of hate and a lot of dislikes about the polishing on the bracelet and the clasp, but at the end of the day, I think this is quite a special piece for what it offers and what it is, and I thought it would be nice to give it a bit of a stronger leg compared to everything else in the collection. So thank you for watching this small update. I hope you, I don't know, either enjoyed or hated the idea of it being a little bit blingier than it used to be. But yeah, I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one.